Well, hello and welcome to Knife Delights. It's time for another Two for Tuesday, and today we're going to do a little something different. Instead of looking at the knives to try to determine their age, we're going to look at a couple of buck sheaths and see if we can tell which one was made at a different time or which one was made earlier or later. And what I'm referring to is I've got a couple of buck 102s here, and they are the two-line inverted stamp, no model number on it. There's that one, and here is this one. And I'm going to try to keep these separated so I get them back in the right sheath. But when we look at Buck's dating chart, we can see that a two-liner on the fixed blade here, the two-line is 1967 to 1972. So there's a date range. So how do you know if it was made earlier, like in 67 or 68, versus whether it was made in 71 or 72? Well, I thought let's look at the sheaths and see if we can find some clues here. So as we look at the two knives are identical. I've went over them, and there's no difference in the knives themselves. The pommels, the guards, everything is all the same. The micarta spacers are the same. So I know the knives are the same. So we'll look at the sheath. On this sheath here, of course, the older buck knives came in the fold-over flap sheath. So we look at this one, we got buck up here in a script, and we got buck right there on the button. And we turn it over, and we can see we got the model number here, 102, right there. And we can see we have a drain hole in it. Now we look at this sheath. It has buck in it also, but it seems to be in a little larger script, and it's placed a little higher up on the flap, and we see there's no buck on the button there. We look and see there's no drain hole in it. And as we turn them over, here is probably the most telling. You see here we have buck 102 across the bottom, and on this one it's up here on the loop. So which came first? Is this older or is this older? Well, I decided I'd break out a couple other bucks that I have. Let me move these aside here real quick. I'm going to put the knives back in because we're not going to really be discussing the knives, and I don't want to get them mixed up. Put those, set those aside, and I got a pair of 105 models. And again, we have the same thing on the 105s. This one has buck and script, but it is very lightly stamped. Just like on this older one here. It's very lightly stamped, and it's up higher here. And on this one, nice bigger lettering. It's stamped a lot deeper. We have buck on the button. Just a plain button here. And we look down here. We can see on this, I know this one to be a newer one because this is the 3-line. Let's bring this one out real quick. This is a new old stock. This is the 3-line that has a model number on it. This one's from 1987. And this one is the inverted 2-line. So again, this one would be from 67 to 72. So you can see on the newer knife and sheath here. We have a pronounced drain hole. We look at that older one there, no drain hole in it. And we turn them over, and we can see 105 here horizontally. And on this one, it's up here. So, when I go back to my 102s then, it appears to me that this is an older sheath. This is probably their first sheath style with no buck on the button, the different stamp up there, no drain hole, and the numbering that way. So I just thought that you might find this interesting, that there's another way, even though it doesn't give me an exact date, because I have not found anywhere where it talks about or shows when they, change the style of the sheath. I have not found any information on that, but I can narrow it down a little more that this one was more of an earlier model than this one, even though the stamping indicates the same date range. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this quick 2 for Tuesday here. If you're a young channel, or any channel actually, if you want to participate in 2 for Tuesday, why I highly encourage it. It's a great way to get your channel out. Just put Knife Delights there in the title of it. I'll make sure and I'll see it that way. And yeah, we'll help spread the word. Just grab a couple of knives, talk about them. It's an easy open tag. So I look forward to seeing your videos. Down here in the lower right hand corner, I'll put a copy of my Buck Knives playlist, that big round Knife Delight, so I smash that if you'd like to subscribe. And down here in the lower left hand corner, well, that's just the next video that YouTube thinks you should watch. So until next time, have a very delightful day.